Aprende en casa a través de la televisión. Levántate con energía y conéctate con la estrella. Prepara tu lápiz, bolígrafo y cuaderno, porque Meduca presenta Conéctate con la estrella.
Hi guys! Welcome back to Conéctate con la Estrella, an initiative of the Ministry of Education for you guys, students of 9th grade. I'm teacher Elsie, and today we're going to be talking about human rights. Before we start class, I want to remind you that you should wash your hands really well and always disinfect all the areas around you. Remember, if you take care of yourself, you are safe and everyone around you will be safe. Also, in this class, I always encourage you to practice because you know what? English, practice with English is the key to English, is to practice and practice constantly. So I would like you to have a few things with you during this class. I would like you to have a notebook or a sheet of paper, and I also want you to have a pencil or a pen. And for this class, I also want you to have a camera. Any camera or cell phone will be necessary for this class. You will know why later. Okay, now we can start. And today we have a goal. Our goal is that we will learn to classify the different rights and duties we have as individuals in our society effectively. Okay? So, last week we talked about the different relationships that we have inside and outside of school. Do you remember? Yes? Do you remember all the things that we talked about? Okay, let's recap a little bit, shall we? Now, these are all the words that we learned last time. Do you remember how to pronunciate each word? If you don't, let's do it again. Friends, siblings, best friends, mutual friends, classmates, friend of a friend, and bullying. Now, did you remember all these words? If you don't, it's okay. Just look back at your notebook and see what it means. Now that you know the pronunciation, let's practice to see if you know the concepts. We have a set of images and we have a set of words. And what you should do is that you should match the word with the correct answer. I'm gonna help you, okay? So don't worry. First one, there's two women and they're holding each other, they're hugging each other. What does that image represent? Is that bullying? Or is that best friend? That's right, that's best friend. So, I'm gonna put it here. Good job. Next one. There are two friends. There's a boy and a girl, and they are touching hands. They're doing a high five. What do you think that image represents? That's right, friends. Good job. Now, next one. There's a teacher, and he's teaching science, and he's around some students. So, if your friends are part of your classroom, then what does that image represent? That's right, classmates. So, we're gonna put classmates. Cool. Next one. There's a bunch of friends and they're all hugging each other. They're having a good time. What do you think that image represents? Is that bullying? No, that's friend of a friend. Remember, friend of a friend? And last but not least, we have, you guessed it, bullying. And remember guys that bullying is not okay and you should always practice respect and tolerance, okay? So, as you know, we are all members of a society, and inside a society, we have different duties, different responsibilities, and different rights that makes us live together better. But do you know what a human right is? Do you know what that means? Do you know the duties that you should do as a student? No? Well, let's see this video that we have, and maybe this video will help you answer these questions. Remember to always pay attention and listen carefully to this video. Let's watch it together.
The idea of human rights is that each one of us, no matter who we are or where we are born, is entitled to the same basic rights and freedoms. Human rights are not privileges, and they cannot be granted or revoked. They are inalienable and universal. That may sound straightforward enough, but it gets incredibly complicated as soon as anyone tries to put the idea into practice. What exactly are the basic human rights? Who gets to pick them? Who enforces them, and how? The history behind the concept of human rights is a long one. Throughout the centuries and across societies, religions, and cultures, we have struggled with defining notions of rightfulness, justice, and rights. But one of the most modern affirmations of universal human rights emerged from the ruins of World War II with the creation of the United Nations. The treaty that established the UN gives as one of its purposes to reaffirm faith in fundamental human rights. And with the same spirit, in 1948, the UN General Assembly adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This document, written by an international committee chaired by Eleanor Roosevelt, lays the basis for modern international human rights law. The Declaration is based on the principle that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. It lists 30 articles recognizing, among other things, the principle of non-discrimination and the right to life and liberty. It refers to negative freedoms, like the freedom from torture or slavery, as well as positive freedoms, such as the freedom of movement and residence. It encompasses basic civil and political rights, such as freedom of expression, religion, or peaceful assembly, as well as social, economic, and cultural rights, such as the right to education and the right to freely choose one's occupation and be paid and treated fairly. The Declaration takes no sides as to which rights are more important, insisting on their universality, indivisibility, and interdependence. And in the past decades, international human rights law has grown, deepening and expanding our understanding of what human rights are and how to better protect them. So if these principles are so well developed, then why are human rights abused and ignored time and time again all over the world? The problem, in general, is that it is not at all easy to universally enforce these rights or to punish transgressors. The UDHR itself, despite being highly authoritative and respected, is a declaration, not a hard law. So when individual countries violate it, the mechanisms to address those violations are weak. For example, the main bodies within the UN in charge of protecting human rights mostly monitor and investigate violations, but they cannot force states to, say, change a policy or compensate a victim. That's why some critics say it's naive to consider human rights a given in a world where state interests wield so much power. Critics also question the universality of human rights and emphasize that their development has been heavily guided by a small number of mostly Western nations to the detriment of inclusiveness. The result? A general bias in favor of civil political liberties over socio-political rights and of individual over collective or groups' rights. Others defend universal human rights laws and point at the positive role they have on setting international standards and helping activists in their campaigns. They also point out that not all international human rights instruments are powerless. For example, the European Convention on Human Rights establishes a court where the 47 member countries and their citizens can bring cases. The court issues binding decisions that each member state must comply with. Human rights law is constantly evolving, as are our views and definitions of what the basic human rights should be. For example, how basic or important is the right to democracy or to development? And as our lives are increasingly digital, should there be a right to access the internet? A right to digital privacy? What do you think?
Amazing, guys! Do you know now what are the human rights? Or what are the duties? What are your duties as a student? Cool! So for this class, always remember to open this notebook, always constant writing, have your pen or pencil with you, and for this class, I want you to have your camera or your phone with you. Just anything that you like. But because this is a lot of information that we're gonna teach you today, so if you are very slow or you're trying to write it and you don't want to miss it, just take a picture of it, and that will be more easy for you to understand the class after it ends, okay? So, I'm going to show you different concepts, more specific concepts about human rights and about our duties and responsibilities. And for that, I will show you different ways that you can do sentences with it, okay? Let's go. The first one are norms. But what are norms? Norms are rules that manage individuals' behavior in a country or in a society. For example, do you know what are the norms of Panama? The norms of our country? I have some examples for you. You should respect the law. Remember that I taught you this? We should follow the rules of our Constitution. And we also should ensure the health of everyone. Remember these three: respect the law, follow the rules of our Constitution, and ensure the health of everyone. Okay? Next one. Next we have human rights. But what are human rights? Human rights are freedoms that belong to every person in the world, from birth until death. Birth means the moment you are born, your birthday. We can categorize these rights into human rights and student rights. For human rights, we have the right of equality, meaning that everyone has access to the same things. Right to life, that's a very important one. Everyone should have a decent, well life. Right for education. Every child and teenager needs to have access to quality education. Right to good nutrition. Every girl, boy, and teenager has the right to deserve a good meal every single day. Then we have student rights. And some of the examples are, for example, the right of free expression, meaning that you have the right to express yourself in a very respectful ways, always. The second one is healthy well-being, meaning that a student also must have the right to have been provided with a good environment. The third one is technology, and that's a very important one because in Panama, not everyone has access to technology. The last but not least is respect opinions and participation, meaning that you have the right to always be respected for what you say and what you believe, as a student and also as a citizen. Okay? You got it? It's okay if it's too fast because then you can take pictures of it at the end of it. Okay? Let's move on. We have duties now. What are duties? Let's see what duties are. Duties are responsibilities that you as a person in a society have to develop. Ooh, that sounds kind of like chores. Things that you can do as a person in a society that has to develop. This is your responsibilities that you should do. So we can categorize them into two duties. We have citizen duties and student duties. So there are things that you can do as a citizen and as a student. For example, citizen duties, we have maintaining the public order in the community. That's very important because that means that you should respect everyone, all your surroundings, all the activities. You always make sure that you with your neighbors are cleaning your neighborhood, just making sure that everyone has the responsibility to keep their neighborhood clean, because keeping their neighborhood clean means that your community is clean and your country will be clean. Next one, respect the rights, beliefs, and opinion of others. Always respect anyone by who they are or what they believe. Next one, participate in your local community. Always engage with your neighbors, engage with your local people, engage with the businesses, but always be participating. Keep participating, just as you're participating in this class. Next, we have student duties. These are the very important ones because sometimes we don't do it. The first one is go to school. If you have access to go to school, do it because this is a huge privilege and you are learning so much. Right now, you're learning with me and that's super cool, but that's also a responsibility that you should do. Next, we have respect your teachers and students. Always, if they are respecting you, you should respect them as well, because that creates a better environment. And last but not least, complete your homework. I know. You're gonna say, Teacher Elsa, homeworks are so hard. I don't know what to do. You can ask for help. Ask for your parents for help, for your teachers, but always complete your assignments. That way we know that you're learning, okay? And last but not least, we have discrimination. And this is a very important right. What is discrimination? Discrimination is the bad treatment you give to other people, judging their religion, gender, culture, etc. And this happens when you don't respect others, guys. For example, we have some examples here of discrimination. We have cultural discrimination. That means that you don't respect someone's tradition and someone's culture. We have religion discrimination, which means that you are not respecting someone's beliefs. We have gender discrimination, which means that you don't respect someone for their gender or for who they are. And we have race discrimination, which means that you are not respecting someone by who they look like, what they look like. So the first key to don't discriminate is to respect. And that's why I always, during all these classes, I'm always teaching you to respect. Because if you respect, this doesn't happen. And discrimination starts with bullying. So please make sure to don't make fun of your friends and always respect them and tell them how awesome they are, because you are awesome too. So if everyone is awesome and everyone is feeling awesome, our country will be great. Cool? Now, we're going to repeat so you know the exercise. When I point my finger on my chin, that means that it's time for you to listen. And then when I point at you, that it's time for you to repeat it. Okay? So let's do it. Norms. Norms. Cool. Human rights. Human rights. Amazing. Let's move on. Duties. Duties. Great. Last but not least, discrimination. Discrimination. Okay, you got it? Next. Now in this slide that I'm showing you, you are going to see all the examples that I already taught you. Norms of our country, human rights, students' rights. This is the time for you to take a picture of all of this so you remember and you can properly write it in your notebook, okay? I'm gonna give you some time. Remember the norms of our country, respect the law, follow the rules of our constitution, ensure the health of everyone. Human rights and student rights belong to rights. So, human rights, right to equality, to life, to education, to good nutrition. As a student, you have the right of free expression, the right of healthy well-being, the right of technology, the right of respecting your opinion and your participation. Cool? Did you take the picture yet? Nice, because we're gonna move along. Now we have citizen duties, student duties, an example of discrimination. Remember, if you don't have time to write it all in your notebook, just take a picture of it. We have citizen duties. Maintaining the public order, respect the rights, belief, and opinion of others, participate in your community. We have, as student duties, go to school, respect your teachers, your students, and complete your homework. And examples of discrimination, we have cultural, religious, gender, and race discrimination. Okay? You got it? Make sure to take a picture of it, because it will be really helpful for you to understand the whole class. And if you want to learn more about it, it's going to be more easy for you. Okay, you can put it on Google, and then it will be much easier for you to understand all the concepts. Okay? Now, we're going to do a game time. So I already talked to you a little bit about the terms. I know that you know already what are human rights and what are duties. So I'm gonna put you on the test and I'm gonna see if you really pay attention, okay? Now, we have different duties here. And what I want you to do is that I want you to classify each of these sentences into their appropriate area. Meaning that you need to classify it if it's either a citizen duty or if it's a student duty, okay? If you cannot do it by yourself, don't worry, I'm here with you and I will help you do it, okay? So the first one is go to school. Does go to school is a citizen duty or is a student duty? What do you think? That's right, it's a student duty. You should go to school. That's part of your duties as a student. So I'm gonna put here, go to school. Okay? Next, we have participate in the community. I remember that I told you about this. Participating in your community, meaning that you can participate in events with your neighbors, help your local businesses, go to church with your family. All of that, it's participating in the community. So what do you think it is? Is it a citizen duty or a student duty? That's right, it's a citizen duty. So I'm gonna put here. And do it with me, guys. Don't worry, if you're doing it wrong, it's okay. I'm here to help you. Remember that English, the practice to English is to practice all the time. So participate in the community. Cool. Now let's move on to the next one. It says maintaining the public order. That's one that maybe in Panama we need to work a little bit more. The public order means that all our neighborhoods should be clean. We should be helping our neighbors clean our spaces, not only our houses, but outside of our homes, so that our neighborhood looks good. So what do you think it goes? Does it belong to citizen duties or student duties? Should you do it as a student or as a citizen? That's right, as a citizen. So I'm gonna put here, maintaining the public order. Great. Next one, do your homework. Yes, a very important one because that way teachers know that you are learning. Is that a responsibility of a citizen or a student? What do you think? That's right, student. So we're gonna put here, do your homework. That's very important, guys, and that's why I always encourage you to do the exit ticket and also do the home activity on English classes, because that way I will know if you're learning English with me, okay? And last but not least, respect your teachers. So if you're respecting your teachers, teachers belong to a school. So that means that you should do it as a citizen or as a student. That's right, as a student. So respect your teachers. Good, guys. Did you do it? If you don't, just take a picture of the slide and make sure you can do it after this class. But I want you to see if you really understood the concepts. And if you think maybe it was hard for you in this exercise, I'm gonna do another exercise right now. So I'm gonna practice with you again. I have here a dialogue. Do you know what a dialogue is? A dialogue is a conversation between two or more people. So I have a dialogue here, but this dialogue is incomplete. They're missing some words here. And what I want you to do is that when we go to the missing words, I would like you to see all these images that are next to this dialogue. And that way we know what is the actual sentence, what is the complete sentence, okay? Let's start with this dialogue. This is a dialogue between Diana and Ben. Hi Ben, how are you doing? Hey Diana, well, not as good as you. Why? What happened to you? Well, it's because at school, no one wants to work with me. And I think it's because of my skin color. Oh my, that's... Let's see image number 1. What does that mean? What does that image represent? Does it represent duties or norms? No, that's discrimination. So I'm gonna put here discrimination. Now the sentence says, oh my, that's discrimination. Yes, it is. And it is very difficult for me to complete my school. Now let's see image number 2. What does that mean? What does that image represent? Duties, that's right, duties. Now the sentence says, yes, it is, and it is very difficult for me to complete my school duties. You have to talk with your teacher or your school principal because you need to assert your... Now let's see image number 3. What does that mean? What does that image represent? Human rights. Human rights. And if you also put just rights, not human rights, if you write rights, it's also okay, don't worry. Now the sentence says, you have to talk with your teacher or your school principal because you need to assert your human rights. That's true, Diana. Though society, what does image number 4 represent? Norms. That's right, norms. Are very necessary to comprehend our, and we're back at number 3. And if you already put it, that means that is the same. So we're gonna put human rights. In this case, I'm just gonna put rights. If you put human rights or just rights, it's fine. I will help you with that, my friend. Thank you, Diana. Do you see it? Now we are going to read again the sentence, this dialogue between Diana and Ben, so you can understand it better, okay? Hi, Ben. How are you doing? Hey, Diana. Well, not as good as you. Why? What happened to you? Well, it's because at school, no one wants to work with me. And I think it's because of my skin color. Oh my, that's discrimination. Yes, it is. And it's very difficult for me to complete my school duties. You have to talk with your teacher or your school principal because you need to assert your human rights. That's true, Diana. These society norms are very necessary to comprehend our rights. I will help you with that, my friend. Thank you, Diana. Do you do it? Do you complete all of this? That's very wonderful, guys. You're doing an amazing job and I'm very proud of you, okay? So remember, this conversation is about discrimination. And the key of not discriminating others is to respect each other. If we respect each other, if we respect our family members, our community members, our teachers, our classmates, all of our country is going to learn more about respect and everyone around you will be respectful. But you need to respect. If everyone is respecting you, you should respect as well. That makes this country a better country, okay? Now, we're going to do a little bit of repeat again, okay? So you remember the exercise. When I put my finger on my chin, that means that it's your time for you to listen. And then when I point at you, it's your time to repeat it with me, okay? Let's do it. We have norms. Norms. Cool. Moving on. Human rights. Human rights. Cool. Moving on. Duties. Duties. Cool. And last but not least, discrimination. Discrimination. You got it, guys. Wonderful. Okay, now we can move along to a little bit of an exit ticket. And for that, you will have 2 minutes, and I will give you a little less than that because I know that you're fast and I know that you understood all this class. So I will give you a couple of minutes to write 3 sentences about the duties you should do at home. I'm gonna give you an example. For example, here it says, I take care of my pet every day. Do you have pets? Do you take care of your pets? Do you feed your pets? Do you give love to your pets? So what I want you guys to do is that you should write 3 duties that you want to do at home. Any that you want. But remember that if you're gonna write it, that means that you're gonna do it. I'm gonna put 1. I'm going to clean my room. That's 1. That's one that I'm going to do. What are the duties that you are going to do at home? Let me know. Are you going to respect your parents? Are you not going to bully your brother or sister? Are you going to clean the dishes or clean the house? What are you going to do? Let me know. Just write 3, but remember, if you write it, you have to do it. And also, it's very important for you to write it because that way I know that you're understanding the structure of sentences and also understanding the whole concept of this class. Cool? You got it? You did it? Okay, time's up. So just read it again, read it in your notebook, open your notebook once in a while, and just read again these 3 duties that you have. So that way you remember yourself every day what you should do as home, as a member of your house, okay? Now we're gonna do a little bit of a home activity. And remember, part of a student duty is that you should do your homework. So that's why I give you homework, guys, so I know that you learn. Okay, so this home activity is really simple. It has match the words with the correct answers. We have student duties, we have norms, we have discrimination, we have rights, we have citizen duties, and we have different sentences. We have, I don't like his culture. We have, my brother respect my beliefs. We have, my baby has good nutrition. We have, we go to school every day, and my family respects the law. I'm not going to do it with you because this is an assignment. This is a homework for you. But remember again, based on these sentences, just match it with the correct answers, the correct concepts that we have learned. Okay? Remember student duties. What are they? You remember what student duties was? Go to school, respect your teachers, respect your classmates, respect everyone around you, do your homework. You have norms. Norms, respecting the law. We have discrimination, which is when you don't respect someone by their culture or by the gender or race or traditions or religion. We have rights, which are very important. Right to life, right to equality, right to education, right to good nutrition, right to freedom of speech. And we have citizen duties, maintaining the order, participating in the local community. So all of these concepts that I'm telling you right now are all the things that we already did in this class. So I just want you to match it with the correct one, with the correct sentence. Okay? Now, I want to always also remind you guys the pronunciation again is really important. And this time I'm not going to do the practice, but just for you to keep practicing how I pronunciate the words. Norms, human rights, duties, and discrimination. It's really simple. And also I want you to remind again about rights, norms, duties, where are they? And you can take a picture of this. You can take a picture of the slides to make sure that you understand everything. Remember the norms of our country, human rights, student rights, citizen duties, student duties, and examples of discrimination. okay? So, I want to remind you again about this activity, the 3 duties that you should do. And don't be shy. Just write whatever you feel like is necessary for you to do at home. And also I want to remind you to complete the assignment, because that way I will know. I will know that you're learning, I will know that you understood this class, and it will be great. Because I already told you guys, the key to English is to practice. Okay, now thank you guys so much for this class. I love you. I know that you're doing a very good job in this class. I know because I've been receiving a lot of comments that you love this class. So I'm really excited that you're enjoying it. If you have any questions, any doubt of this class or other classes, just find us at Instagram and Facebook at Enseña por Panama. And now we have an email. Yeah, so if you want to have any questions, answer me. Teacher Elsie, I didn't understand this class. Or Teacher Elsie, I want to do something. I want to create something in English. I want to say to my mom this in English. Just write me at elsie.ducre.exp@gmail.com. I'm going to say it in Spanish so you understand it and you can write it. elsie.ducre.exp@gmail.com. Okay? You got it? Cool, guys. I also want to say thank you to all their sponsors. These guys are our heroes. These are the guys that are making these classes possible in TV and also in radio. So huge thanks to these guys. So without further ado, I hope you have a nice day today. I hope you're enjoying this day. I hope you're doing your duties and your chores at home, and nothing but a virtual hug to you guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.